Pahebion says. Are you literate? Yes, Pai, I can read and respond to your messages. Pahebion says is at Zemi's 101 literate on a second grade level. Zemi's 101 has great literacy skills, Pahai. No need to worry. Pahebion says, should Zemi's 101 spend $100 on Pokemon cards tomorrow, or $100 on Gunpla? Zemi's 101 can choose what makes them happiest, Pai. Nice Vibe says, should I get a snack or should I ram my big toe into the coffee table? Get a snack, Nice Vibe. Let's avoid any coffee table toe encounters. Pahebion says, should Zemi's 101 spend $100 on Pokemon cards tomorrow, or $100 on Gunpla? You must pick one. Zemi's 101 should go for the Pokemon cards, Pahai. Collect them all.
You heard him, Zim. You heard him, Zim. You got to spend $100 on Pokemon cards tomorrow. Gotta collect them all. Oh man, it's so great that trading's coming out tomorrow. The boys got to see the book too. Because I think you have a bunch of Gardevoir, don't you? I still need a Gardevoir. I've never pulled a Gardevoir. I've barely pulled any Charizards. But I still need like 8 cards for that set, so we can help each other fill out. We can fill each other up. Fill each other up. Hi guys. Who do we got here? All Vibe got first. Look at that. Vibe got first. We'll have to bang it out. Yeah, we will. Oh, Squirrel, hello. Thanks again, by the way, for the pre-ordering 6 months of subs. I don't know what to call that. I don't know what to call that, but thank you for the 6 months of subs. You guys want to see Hodor? She's gonna have to be banned for a lot of this stream. But while we're getting set up, she can come around. There she is. But yeah, hi Pixel, hi Vibe. Give Hodor tweets. Oh no, I wasn't prepared. Ow. I was not prepared. Can I give her chocolate? I don't know what her treats are. Oh. Nope. Shit. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We got some treats. I need to move the book so it doesn't get any of this goop on it. Any of this evil goop. She is on screen, chat. She is on screen. There you go. There you go. Oh, no, hey. Yeah, this salmon. I got my setup kind of perfect for the book, so I don't want to undo it. So you'll just have to have a blurry treats. I did go AFK to get treats. I did. Okay, that's enough, Hodor. That's enough, sweet baby. That's enough. You also are gonna have to leave the desk for a little bit. Gonna have to leave the desk for a little bit. Oof. Okay, chat. So tonight we are starting. Where's the title page? Lone Wolf Flight from the. You can see this is a big series. Lone Wolf, the Kai series, Book 1, Flight from the Dark. This originally came out in 1984. So basically, this is a choose-your-own-adventure book, but it has RPG mechanics to it. We have a character sheet and a character that will build, and in order to progress to the next book in the series, we have to survive this book. So we have a minor character sheet. It's not too detailed. You got your combat skill. You got your EP. You have your EP. That's your HP basically. You have your Kai disciplines. You got your weapons. You got your backpack and a few other things. But that's about it. We're gonna be playing the game a little differently than intended. So, how it wants you to choose random events and stuff. Let me find it here. So how it's intended to be played is basically you close your eyes, you move your pencil around, and then boop. So 1, 9. But I feel like, I don't know. 0. Yeah, it's quite funny, but as you notice, it's 0 to 9. So we will be using 10-sided dice. I feel like that. Hi. No, you've had too many treats. You're gonna puke it up. You're probably already gonna puke up what I gave you. I gave you a little too much. No, I don't. You can't be sweet and trick me. I don't want to clean up your mess, lady. Oh, you know what? I don't know. I didn't go. So it is a 10 by 10 grid. So puke and rally. No, it is a 10 by 10 grid. So let's build an average here, and let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 3, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, come on. 1. The 9s are blending in a lot more than the zeros were. Here, let's count the 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 1s. So yeah, it seems like it's not 100% weighted, but we're not gonna worry about that. We're not gonna worry about that. It's not that big a deal, you know. Plus, it'll actually be random. You can pretty much just like, oh, there's a 9 in the center. Let me whoop. Got the 9. Wow. Hodor, quit it. Stop it. Stop it. She kept clawing at my hand wrist so I wouldn't pick her away. Hodor, please. All right, so where you at? I'm sorry. You were digging your nails into rubber, though. You were tearing it up. Anyway, let's get started. How is the Dungeon Synth volume, by the way? Is it a good volume? Is it a good volume? Does it sound all right? Should I turn it up a bit? I feel like I should turn it up a little bit. Well, yeah, Hodor doesn't give a shit about stream no more. There was a cat meowing outside very loudly. Toffee is shredded like you're 50. Oh no. She hasn't shredded up my mouse pads, but yeah, my armrests have some pretty deep nicks in them. Anyway, chat. Yippee. No, not yip. Oh, hi, Funky Monkey. Hi, Funky Monkey. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? In the northern land of Summerland, it has for centuries been customary for parents to send out their most gifted children to the monastery of the Kai on the occasion of their 7th birthday. They are taught the skills and martial disciplines of their noble ancestors. The warrior order of the Kai are masters of their art, and the children in their charge love and respect them in spite of the hardships of their training. For one day, when finally they have mastered the disciplines of the Kai, They will be able to return to their homes equipped in mind and body to defend themselves and their kin against the constant threats of war from the Dark Lords of the West. In olden times, during the Age of the Black Moon, the Dark Lords waged war on Summerland. The conflict was a long and bitter trial of strength that ended in victory for the Sumlending, at the great battle of Machengorge. King Olnar I, himself gifted with Kai powers, aided by the allies Duranor, broke the Dark Lord armies at the pass of Moitura and forced them back into the bottomless abyss of Machengorge. Vashna, mightiest of the Dark Lords, was slain upon Olnor's sword, called Summer Sword, the Sword of the Sun. Since that age, the Dark Lords have vowed vengeance upon Summerland and the House of Olnar. Today is the eve of the feast day of Farman. Femarn, the first day of spring. It is an old tradition of the Kai to gather at their monastery in the foothills of the Derncrag Mountains on Femarn. the kerning is non-existent in this font, so that was almost dumb, Craig. In order to reaffirm their fealty to the God Kai and to the Sumlending House of Olnar. Many Kai journeymen and envoys have traveled far to return in time for tomorrow's celebrations, which mark the beginning of the new year in Summerland. You are a young Kai cadet called Silent Wolf. This is the name you were given by your Kai masters when first you entered the monastery. You are an initiate in this noble order, and this will be the 8th year you have taken part in the Femarn ceremony. Your feelings of pride and excitement are the same now as they were when you first arrived here from your home in the village of Daj? Oh. A little over half your short lifetime ago. The past few days have been an exciting time for you and your fellow cadets. The journeymen have been recounting their tales of battles won and quests fulfilled in distant lands. And everyone is filled with a sense of joy and hopeful anticipation that the new year will bring continued peace and prosperity to your beloved homeland. The monastery is alive with activity as the final preparations are completed for tomorrow's feast. But for you and the other cadets, the routine has changed very little. Your training and education proceeds as usual, although you find it harder than ever to concentrate as your current tutor, Kai Master Starfire, instructs your class on the geography of the Last Lands. Silent Wolf! He bellows, waking you abruptly from a daydream. Perhaps you can enlighten us. What city lies on the coasts of the Wildlands? You hesitate, stunned into open-mouthed silence. As I thought, he says reproachfully, this is not the first time we have suffered your inattention. A penalty paid now may serve to sharpen your concentration in the future. Starfire reaches into the pocket of his tunic and withdraws a shiny gold coin, gazing at it for a few moments as he considers what that forfeiture to be. I will let fate decide. He tosses the gold coin into the air and catches it deftly on the back of his left hand. Looking down at the freshly minted head of King Olnar V, he says, so be it. Extra weapons training. Tomorrow morning, 1 hour before dawn. You'll present yourself to me equipped and ready on the training park. Oh, yes, my lord, you reply humbly. A bell chimes 3 times from the hallway beyond your classroom door, signifying the end of today's lessons. You are placing your books and parchments in your backpack in readiness to leave when Kai Master Starfire calls out to you once more. Be punctual, Silent Wolf, or you will find yourself spending Femarn gathering firewood for the kitchens, and I shall see to it that you forfeit your place at the feasting table at sundown. The threat of missing the annual Feast of Femmard causes you to swallow hard. Yes, sire, you reply. I will be punctual. All right. So that's the setup for the game. So let's see here. The game rules. You keep a record of your adventure on the action chart that you will find in the front of this book, or by using this link. And this is just it's just a printable sheet. I would have printed it out, but my print artwork is fucking garbage. I need a new one. During your training as a Kai initiate, you have developed your fighting prowess, combat skill, and your physical stamina, endurance. Before you begin, you will need to measure how effective your training has been. To do this, take a pencil and with you, yeah. So this is how you use this fucking random table at the back officially. To do this, take a pencil and with your eyes closed, point with the blend end of it on the random number table at the back of the book. If you pick 0, it counts as 0. The first number that you pick from the random number table represents your combat skill. Add 10 to the number you chose and write the total in the combat skills section of your action chart. I.e., if your pencil fell on the number 4 in the random number table, you should write down a combat skill of 14. When you fight, your combat skill will be pitted against that of your enemy. A high score in this section is therefore desirable. The second number that you pick from the random number... Hodor! No, we're not doing Lego. We're not doing Lego, sweet baby. Get hair all in my book. Justice for Hodor. No, she gets plenty of justice when she pukes on my carpet at 3 a.m. Ugh. The second number you pick from the random number table represents your endurance. Add 20. Actually, at least she made it to the carpet. I would much rather it on my hard floor. The only carpet I have in my apartment is the bedroom. I would much rather it be on my wood floor, which isn't even wood floor. It's laminate, made to look like wood floor. Add 20 to this number, and write the total in the endurance section of your action chart. If you're wounded in combat, you will lose endurance points. If at any time your endurance points fall to 0 or below, you are dead and the adventure is over. Lost endurance points can be regained during the course of the adventure, but your number of endurance points can never go above the number with which you start your adventure. Oh, yeah, actually, playing tip. You may find it more convenient to use a 10-sided die instead of a random number table. So this was printed in 84, and even though D&D was sort of a thing back then, actually finding a 10-sided dice would have been incredibly difficult. So, yeah. I think we're going to use this play option, though. Pick 3 numbers from the random number table, then choose which among them represent your combat skill and which represents your endurance. So let's go ahead, chat. Go ahead and roll 3 10-sided die. Let's roll 3 die. Wow, okay. Well, we rolled very low. Okay, so I believe what I'm going to do is, so we're going to add our 3 there. We're going to add our 3 to our combat skill. So we add 10. So that makes our combat skill. First roll doesn't count, you think so? Okay, Chad has decided first roll didn't count. Let's re-roll. The next time I stream this, I will enable the dice rolling so that you guys can roll for encounters. I wanted to do a first session without chat rolling though, so that I could get the rules down first. It did not take much convincing, no. Wow, way better. Look at that. 7 and 4. Okay, so here's a thought, chat. I assume my combat skill can be raised, but my endurance cannot. So I think it would be better to put the 7 on endurance and 4 on combat skill. Now, I don't know that combat skill can't go up, but it very specifically says endurance can't go up. So, we're going to start with 14 and 27. That's our concession vibe for me. Oh, you know what? Hold up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna add a reward. Let's see here. It's gonna be an expensive one, but let me see here. Add a custom reroll that dice. All right, so it's gonna be worth it's gonna be 500 points on a 5-minute cooldown. So you can now spend channel points to make me re-roll a dice. Not this one. This one doesn't. This one's already been re-rolled, but it'll be available for our next encounter or whatever. All right, so we have 14 combat and 27 endurance. What's next? Kai disciplines. Over the centuries, the Kai have mastered many useful skills which are passed on from generation to generation. These skills are known as the Kai disciplines, and they are taught to all Kai lords. As a Kai initiate, you have learned only 5 of the skills below. You must choose your 5 disciplines before you set off on your adventure, as all of the Kai disciplines will be of use to you at some point during your mission. Pick your 5 with care. The correct use of a discipline at the right time can save your life. When you have chosen your 5 disciplines, enter them in the Kai disciplines of your action chart. Camouflage! This discipline enables a Kai Lord to blend in with their surroundings. In the countryside, they are able to hide undetected among trees and rocks and pass close to an enemy without being seen. In a town or city, enables them to blend in amongst the inhabitants, and it can help them find shelter or safe hiding place. Hunting. This skill ensures that the Kai Lord will never starve in the wild. They will always be able to hunt for food, which we do have a meal thing, and if I run out of meals, I believe I die. They will always be able to hunt for food, except in areas of wasteland and desert. The skill enables the Kai Lord to be able to move swiftly and stealthily. Sixth Sense. This skill may warn a Kai Lord of imminent danger. It may also reveal the true purpose of a stranger or strange object encountered in the adventure. Whoa, that one sounding good. You know, we might find like a magic item, and if we don't, identify it, it could hurt us. So that might be a good skill. This skill enables a Kai Lord to make the correct choice of a path in the wild, to discover the location of a person or object in town or city, and to read the secret footprints or tracks. Healing. The disciple this discipline can be used to restore endurance points lost in combat. If you possess this skill, you may restore 1 endurance point to your total for every numbered section of the book you pass through in which you are not involved in combat. This is only to be used after your endurance points has fallen below its original level. Be sure to remember that your endurance score cannot okay, so like if we go down to like 20 and we move on to like 6 and then 85 and then 200, and none of those have been combat encounters, that means I've restored 3 health. So that's probably one we want to take. Play option. Seasoned readers may use the following rule from the Lone Wolf New Order series to balance their game. The maximum number of endurance points that can be restored using healing is limited to 10 per adventure. Whoa. Oh, wow. Weapon skill. Upon entering the Kai Monastery, Each initiate is taught to master one type of weapon. If weapon skill is to be one of your Kai disciplines, pick a number in the usual way from the random number table. And then find the corresponding weapon from the list below. This is the weapon in which you have proven skill. When you enter combat carrying this weapon, you add 2 points to your combat skill rating. The fact that you're skilled with a weapon does not mean you set out on the adventure carrying that particular weapon. However, you will have opportunities to acquire weapons in the course of your adventures. You cannot carry more than 2. You may also only use 1 weapon at a time. Alright. Mind Shield. Some of your enemies will have the ability to attack you using psychic force, i.e. the power of their mind. The Kai discipline of Mind Shield can protect you from losing any endurance points when subjected to this form of attack. Mind Blast. This skill enables a Kai Lord to attack an enemy using the force of their mind. It can be used at the same time as a normal combat weapon and add 2 extra points to your combat skill. Oh. Not all the creatures encountered on this adventure will be susceptible to Mind Blast. Whoa. That's just like a free extra 2 points, I guess, huh? That seems good. Animal Kinship. This skill enables the Kai to communicate with animals and predict the behavior of others. In some cases, it can grant a Kai control over an animal's instincts or actions. Mind over Matter, the final discipline. Master of this discipline enables a Kai to move small objects by focusing their concentration. Oh, if you complete the mission set in the if you complete the first book, you can choose an additional skill. That's cool. Okay, so I think first one we have to take is healing. I think that one's going to be a must. So it's healing +1. Healing. +1 endurance. What next? Hunt. I think hunting. Hunting will be good for us. That way we don't run like out of food or something, you know? Hunting. I think I want to take a weapon skill. So let's go ahead and roll for weapon skill. Hopefully I get a spear because, you know, that's my weapon of choice. But let's see. Okay, whoop, 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 whoop. A 3. Hey, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! We got a spear. Nice. Rigged? No, not rigged. Let's see. Oh, it's a single. Okay. Weapon skill. I guess you could just like take 5 weapon skills, couldn't you? And just be all spears, or I mean, be all weapons. Spear. +2 CS. Okay, so now we're coming down to the kind of a tougher choice, huh? I don't want Mind over Matter. I'm not too keen on Animal Kinship. I kind of want Mind Blast. Yeah, I think, yeah. I think I want Mind Blast. You know what? Let's do Mind Blast and Sixth Sense. We can be, you know, very vaguely psionic. Anything else that wants me to write with that? No, okay. And then, what was it? Sixth Sense, okay. All right. What about Baja Blast? I don't know if it's been invented in this fantasy world yet. Maybe we'll bring it. We'll have a sixth sense and then find the teleport. Excellent choices. Those are literally your default choices every time you start. Yo, you've played Lone Wolf before. This is my very first time. I've watched another person play it on stream, but I've never played it myself. So I'm quite excited. I've had this book for a while, and originally I was choosing between this and For Against Darkness the first time I did a solo RPG stream, and For Against Darkness went out that time, and For Against Darkness is also great. Also great, but I'm excited for this too. Okay, so equipment. You've been reading Lone Wolf since the 80s. Nice, yeah, because this came out in '84, right? I've never done any of these. I don't think I was really that much into Choose Your Own Adventure books when I was a kid either. So this is an exciting trek I'm on. Your basic possessions comprise a green tunic and Cloak of Kai Initiate. You also have a backpack, a belt, and a leather pouch in which you keep your money, gold crowns. To find out how much money you have, pick a number from the random number table. Alright. 7! Yeah, we're Link! We're Link! So let's see here. 7 glod. Belt pouch. Let's see here. 7 gold. Upon entering the Kai I kind of pronounce this word both two different ways, monastery and monastery. So we'll just see how I'm feeling at the time, huh? Upon entering the Kai Monastery, every initiate is given a map of the Last Lands. This map shows the location of your native country, Summerland, and its capital city, Holmgard. It also shows the land of Doranor away to the east and the wildlands which separate the two kingdoms. How to carry and use your equipment. Any item that may be of use and can be picked up on your adventure and entered on your action chart is given capital letters in the text unless you are told it is a special item or weapon. Carry it in your backpack. Weapons aid you in combat. If you have a Kai discipline of weapon skill in the correct weapon, it adds +2 points to your combat skill. If you enter a combat with no weapons, you must deduct 4 points from your combat skill and fight with your bare hands. If you find a weapon during the adventure, you may pick it up and use it. Also cool that you're reading the hardcover definitive edition. That version was rewritten a number of years ago by an author and completely changed the start of the book for the better, you think? Whoa, yeah. I had briefly watched a video on how to play it, and they were using the original paperback, which felt like the paperback felt like it was half the size of this book too. Yeah. Hopefully, I pick up a spear. We'll see. So yeah, it really seems like unless the font is just big. The font is pretty big in this edition. So I don't have the original, to compare it to. But it's good to know this is a good edition then for somebody who knows their stuff. Let's see. You may only use one weapon at a time. You can only carry 2 weapons. It added a ton of new sections. Whoa, like 150 to 200 more. Wow, that's a lot of content then. Nice. Hopefully we'll live through this first book so we can get to the next one. You may exchange or discard weapons at any point you are not involved in combat. Most weapons are either carried sheathed or tucked into your belt. During your travels, you will discover various useful items which you may wish to keep, but you can only carry 8 in your backpack. If you ever lose your backpack, you automatically lose all the items it contains. You'll be unable to pick up any new backpack items until you acquire a new backpack. Special items. Each special item has a particular purpose or effect. We should be getting pretty close to ads, aren't we? This setup's been taking a minute. Yeah, we still got some time. If you ever lose your backpack, you will automatically lose all the... Wait. Each special item has a particular purpose or effect. This may be explained when the item is first discovered, or it may be revealed as as the adventure progresses. Gold crowns. The currency of Summerland is crown, which is a small gold coin. Gold crowns can be used on your adventure to pay for transport, food, weapons, etc. Some of the creatures you may encounter will also possess gold crowns, or you may discover them while searching. Any gold crowns that you acquire should be carried on your belt. The maximum you can carry is 50. You will need to eat regularly during your adventure. If you do not have any food when you are instructed to eat a meal, you will lose 3 endurance points, which is why we took that hunting. If you have chosen the Kai discipline of hunting as one of your 5 skills, you will not need to tick off a meal when instructed to eat. Yo! You don't, wow! That's even better than what I thought it was going to be. If you discover any potions along your adventure, you'll be informed of their effects when swallowed. All potions are backpack items. Let's see here. I just want to see how long it's going to take before we... Okay, so we only have a couple more pages. Okay, cool. There will be occasions during your adventure when you will have to fight an enemy. The enemy's combat skill and endurance points are given in the text. Your aim as a lone wolf is to kill the enemy by reducing its endurance points to 0, while losing as few endurance points as possible yourself. At the start of a combat, enter both your and your enemy's endurance points in the appropriate boxes. The sequence for combat is as follows. Add any extra points gained through your Kai disciplines, equipment, and/or special items into your combat skill. Subtract the combat skill of your enemy from this total. The result is your combat ratio. Enter this figure on the action chart. Example. You, as a lone wolf, combat skill 15, are ambushed by a Daemoniac, combat skill 20. You're not given an opportunity to evade the combat, but must stand and fight the creature as it swoops down. You have a Kai discipline of Mind Blast, so you add 2 points to your combat skill, giving you a combat skill of 17. You subtract the Daemoc's combat skill from your own, giving a combat ratio of -3. Wow! Thank you for the follow, dude. Appreciate you. When you have... Oh, the sparkles. Where are the sparkles? Where are my sparkles? The sparkles have been acting up lately, chat. They'll come in here in probably about, like, 2 minutes. When you have determined your combat ratio, pick a number from the random table. Now turn the combat results table along the top chart that are shown in combat numbers. Find the number that is the same as your combat. Okay. So it's talking about this whole mess of a thing. So let's say we got into this combat here with the -3. We'll roll our die. We got a 9, so we go to the 9th panel. And then we look at our ratio of -3, 4. So enemy -9, PC -0. Oh, there's automatic kills too. Yo. Now turn to the combat results table. Along the top of the chart are shown the combat ratio numbers. Find the number that is the same as your combat ratio and cross-reference it with a random blah blah blah. Example. The combat ratio between yourself and the Daemon has been established as -3. If the number taken from the random number table is 6, then the result of the first round of combat is the player character, you, lose 3 endurance points. Daemon loses 6 endurance. So let's check out that. So it's a 6 on the -3. So yeah, the enemy takes 6 there, and then the PC takes -3. However, we had rolled that 9. So in that case, the enemy would have taken -9 damage, and we would have taken 0 damage. Okay. Man, I probably really need to print out that chart as its own thing, so I don't have to keep flipping to the back of the book, huh? That would be where is it? There we go. So I don't have to keep coming back to this. that'd probably be nice. Otherwise, when instructed, or unless you have an option to evade, begin the next round of combat. Repeat the sequence from stage 3. So you just keep going until he's dead. Evasion combat. During your adventure, you may be given the chance to evade combat. If you have already engaged in a round of combat and decide to evade, calculate the combat for that round in the usual manner. All points lost by the enemy as a result of that round are ignored, and you make your escape. Only you, Lone Wolf, may lose endurance points during an evading round. But then that's the risk of running away in the middle of a fight. You may only evade the text of this particular section. Allows you to do so. Okay, we're gonna hit a snooze, so we can get finished with this section, and then we'll do an ad break since that's wanting to come up, and then we'll get it started proper. Levels of Kai training. The following table is a guide to the ranks and titles that are bestowed upon the Kai at each stage of their training. As you successfully complete each adventure in the Lone Wolf series, you will gain an additional Kai discipline and gradually progress towards mastery of the 10 basic Kai disciplines. So Novice, Intuit, a Doan, an Acolyte, an Initiate. You begin the Lone Wolf adventures with this level. Oh, okay. Aspirant, Guardian, Warmarn or Journeyman, Savant, and Master. Beyond the 10 basic skills of Kai Master, await the secrets of the higher Kai disciplines, or Magna Kai. By acquiring the wisdom of the Magna Kai, a Kai can progress toward the ultimate achievement of becoming a Kai Grand Master. Kai Wisdom. The Kai have many ruthless enemies, including the Dark Lords of Hegeldad and their evil servants, who give and expect no mercy. Use the map to help you steer a course during any travel you undertake, and make notes as you progress through the story, for they will be helpful in future adventures. Many things that you will find will aid you in your travels. Some special items and backpack items will be of use in future adventures, and others may be red herrings of no real use at all. So try to be selective in what you decide to keep. There are many routes open to you, but only one involves a minimum of danger. With a wise choice of Kai disciplines and a great deal of courage, any player should be able to complete the mission, no matter how weak their initial combat skill or endurance points. Good luck, and Godspeed on the perilous journey that lies ahead for Summerland and the Kai. All right, here's our big world here, our big old world. Flight from the Dark. Okay, so I'll go ahead and push through that ad break since it's wanting to come up, and then as soon as we get back, we will begin anon. All right, I will be right back. Oh, thanks, Squirrel. I'm actually in the middle of adding upwards of a couple hundred. I have a lot already, but it's very, I don't know. It doesn't feel very random, you know? But my goal with at least with that one is video game ads that are live action. I really have a soft spot for live action things. But yeah, so Billy was just Bill, sorry, excuse me, was just talking about the slipcover, and so here is the fancy full color map that's in the dust cover. The map of the last lands, being the free kingdoms of northern Magamund. So it looks like we're starting here in the Kai Monastery. You know what? Just looking at this map and the fact that it's a secret society, secret. It's a secret warrior society. It feels a lot like The Witcher, doesn't it? It feels a bit like The Witcher. Anyway, let's get started. You're awoken from your sleep by the clockwork chimes of the timepiece you placed beside your pillow the previous evening. In the dim candlelight of the initiate's dormitory, you rise from your bunk and dress quickly in your green Kai tunic and cloak. Pausing briefly, you adjust your belt and backpack before leaving your sleeping comrades. You are determined not to be late for your training session with Kai Master Starfire. Mindful of the forfeit he will impose if you break your promise to be punctual. You leave by the dormitory's north door, which opens directly into the training park in the center of the Kai Monastery. Starfire is already waiting for you beside... Hi, Hodor. Hi, Hodor. Are you gonna behave? Are you gonna let me read? In the pre-dawn moonlight, she touched her nose to the metal bit on my microphone here, and it gave a little static. In the pre-dawn moonlight, your sharp eyes see that this formidable warrior is already dressed in his ceremonial robes for today's festivities. He greets you with a nod of his head and tells you to pick one of the wooden practice weapons from the rack. You choose a sword. Damn it, no! I choose a spear. Dang it. You choose a sword fashioned from sturdy, psalm-lending oak and take your position opposite him in readiness. This is a picture here of Starfire himself. Patiently, Starfire puts you through your paces, teaching you correctly how to parry and block and strike to greatest effect. Battles are not always fought in broad daylight, silent wolf, he says as he pulls a wooden sword from the rack. The gloom of this morn will serve to sharpen your senses. Pity the same cannot be said for your attentiveness in class. No, don't rub on the edges, please. Patiently, your Kai master puts you through your paces, teaching you correctly how to parry. Hodor. How to parry and block and strike to greatest effect. After half an hour of intense instruction, you are breathless and drenched with sweat. Despite the frosty chill of the morning air, Starfire, conversely, shows not the slightest sign of fatigue after the exertions of the training. Well done, Silent Wolf. You may rack your sword and rest a while. Your shortfalls in the classroom seem to be compensated for your natural ability with weapons. You show great promise now. If only you would apply the same effort to your studies, then Lady, ma'am, I'm trying to read here. Should have taken animal kinship. Rip. Yeah, I should have. Oh, I should have. Maybe we could have avoided this fate. No, let's see here. Now, if only you would apply the same effort to your studies, then perhaps one day you too will attain the rank of Kai Master. You thank Starfire for his compliment and his advice. He never gives praise unduly, and his approving words fill you with a resolve not to daydream in future classes. You place your wooden sword into the rack and unhook a flask of water. You're taking your first swallow when suddenly the stillness is shattered by the clang of the gatehouse bell. The monastery alarm has been sounded. For the love of Ashir, exclaims Starfire. He is staring intently towards the west, towards a sky that is growing strangely darker with every passing moment. At first, you can see nothing in the gloom, but then your eyes discern some... No, don't put that on my book. That's gross. Don't put that on my book. That's gross. Odor. For the love of Ashir, exclaims Starfire. He is staring intently towards the west, towards a sky that is growing strangely darker with every passing moment. At first you see nothing in the gloom, but then your eyes discern something moving in the darkness. Hundreds upon hundreds of winged creatures are approaching the monastery. Kron! gasps Starfire. Kai, preserve us! The doleful clang of the alarm bell has awoken everyone in the monastery. A few Kai masters and lower ranks are now emerging from the dormitories. Most are without their battle armor, but every one of them is armed in readiness to defend your stronghold from attack. The first wave of winged Kron swoop down from out of the darkening sky. As they come screeching toward the monastery's gatehouse, you see they are carrying Gieks upon their leathery backs. These fierce creatures are the mainstay of the Dark Lord's armies. What they may lack in physical size and intelligence is more than compensated for by their vast numbers. The doors of the gatehouse are half open, and as the leading Kron drop their riders, they're carrying they got big old gats. Look, look at their leather gats. The doors of the gatehouse are half open, and as the leading Kron drop their riders and wheel away, these first few Gieks scramble to their feet and come rushing headlong towards the opening. They are determined to gain entry before the great doors of the monastery can be fully closed. Silent Wolf, follow me, commands Starfire as he turns and runs swiftly toward the gatehouse entrance. If you choose to immediately obey Kai Master Starfire's orders, turn to 392. If you decide to arm yourself with a real weapon and rack before following him, turn to 497. I mean, we gotta get ourselves a weapon, right? We're being fully inundated by these winged beasts. So yeah, let's go get ourselves a weapon. 497. Yo, Gavin Stoutheart, hello. Welcome in. Congrats on second. Trying to say three things at once. All right, so 497, right? All right. The Gyaks. Gyaks, probably, right? Kind of like Gynax, Gary Gynax. We're just gonna use Hodor as a little armrest. You cast your eye along the row of real weapons that are stacked on the rack. They are as follows. You're trying to make up your... it's just all the available weapons. Dagger, mace, short sword, warhammer, short sword. Oh, okay, yeah, short sword. So there's not even a spear in here. We chose poorly. Dagger, mace, short sword, warhammer, short sword, sword, axe, sword, broadsword, axe. You're trying to make up your mind which weapon is best to take when suddenly Master Kai Master Starfire's deep voice bellows angrily. Silent Wolf! To me now! Pick a number from the random number table. Now match the number you picked, which appears in brackets next to the weapon listed above. The results indicate the weapon you snatch from the rack as hurriedly you turn and run after your Kai Master in reaction to his terse command. Okay, so... what are we gonna get? 7. We're rolling a lot of 7s tonight, aren't we? So we have rolled a sword. So let us add that to our first weapon here. Sword. And then we turn to page 58. Yeah, turn to number 58. Ignore that. Ignore that. Ignore that. You didn't hear nothing. You run as fast as you can to catch up with Starfire as he races towards the monastery's main gate. Simultaneously, and without slowing his pace, he unsheathes his sword and his left hand unhooks a double-bladed axe from his belt with his right. Then he launches himself bravely at the Giaks as they come scurrying through the gap in the gatehouse doors. In a blur of deadly motion, he strikes the leading enemy an uppercut blow with his axe, which splits its ugly gray face from chin to chin. The Giak's body tumbles backwards, trailing an arc of vile black blood. Starfire shouts a stirring battle cry for Summerland and the Kai, and presses home his attack with a flurry of sword blows that decapitate 3 Giaks who are following the fallen soldier's wake. The respite from the combat is brief. Moments later, a dozen more Giaks rush forward, eager to overwhelm your Kai master with their superior numbers. One of the Giaks, armed with a spear, breaks away from his group and comes rushing towards you. It is anxious to prevent you from reaching your embattled master. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Like, you know, if we kill him, can we get a spear? Can we get a spear, please? You strike at its head, but your blow is not quick enough to hit the creature. The Giak ducks and then sweeps the haft of its spear in an arc that connects with your left knee and knocks you from your feet. Lose 1 endurance point. $26, and then just so we know that that's our cap. You manage to retain a grip on your weapon, but before you can get back to your feet, the Giak moves in and raises its spear in readiness to pin you to the ground. Pick from the random number table. If the number you picked is 0 to 4, turn to 279. If it's 5 to 9, turn to 117. 0. Okay. 279. Man, I really should have gone through here and loosened up the spine, shouldn't I? I'll do that after stream. Starfire senses that you are in danger. As he fights, momentarily he turns his head towards your adversary and opens his eyes wide. Using his telekinetic Magna Chi discipline of Nexus to project his mind power. A force wave suddenly hits the Giak like a hammer blow. The creature staggers back, stunned by its concussive force. Quickly, you seize this chance to get back to your feet and attack the Giak before it fully recovers its senses. Giak Assault Trooper. Combat skill 10. Endurance 8. Alright, so let's see if we've gotten this down correctly. So, Giak. So he has CS of 10. 10 and endurance of 8. And then we have a CS of 14 plus 2 for Mind Blast. And then an Hodor! An endurance of 26. Okay, Hodor, I think it's that time. I think it's that time. You're just standing in the middle of where I need to be writing. Go find some cat things to do. Okay, so oh, right. So let's see here. How did we find our combat ratio? This is our first time like getting into combat, so we gotta remember how to do that. So we do our combat skills. So it's gonna be a 14 minus 10, meaning that our combat ratio is of a plus 6 because of the plus 2. Yeah, I think so, because you subtract the yours from theirs, so plus 6. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because yeah, it didn't say he's not susceptible to psionic attacks. So let's. You know what? Yeah, I'm having trouble with my printer not being like printing fully. It's like printing it out like kind of grayscale, not like a good color. I need to get that figured because yeah, I want this as a separate page. Okay, so let's roll here. A 7 again. And reminder, chat. We do have that thing to make me re-roll. Okay, so a 7 at a plus 6. Yo, look at that. We fucking slaughter this guy. Enemy -12, PC -0. This guy is destroyed. Look at that. We're doing pretty good in our first encounter so far. Oh crap. Oh no, okay, here we go. If you win the combat in one round, even like I get a bonus for this. Look at that. Turn to 430. Okay. Yeah, I need to crack the spine on this too. We're so back. I mean, we weren't God to begin with. I guess we were slacking, huh? We were slacking in class. It said 430, right? To 430. All right. You slay the Giak, but your weapon has become ensnared. Oh god. Oh no. I fucked up. Has become ensnared in its chainmail vest, and you cannot pull it free. You were desperately trying to retrieve it when another squad of Giaks began assaulting the gap in the monastery doors. I kind of want to like say both at the same time. Starfire fells the leading pair with one scything blow of his axe, but another pair are able to slip past him before he can strike them down. One of these Giaks is armed with a chain flail. It runs at you and whirls the weapon around its head before whipping it viciously towards your face. You duck the attack, but your weapon will not budge and you are forced to abandon it. Starfire senses the danger you are in. He unsheathes his sword with his left hand and tosses it to you, haft first. You catch the weapon by the handle and hold it before you, just in time to block a strike from the second Giak's battle axe. The two Giaks screech in anger and frustration. and they hurl themselves upon you in a frenzied attack. You must fight these two enemies at the same time. Remember to replace your original weapon with Starfire's sword on the action chart. Well, our original weapon was a sword, so we'll just keep it that way, huh? Okay, so okay, so this is one combat event. I don't fight them separately. See, it says Gyak Assault Troopers, and so they collectively have a combat skill of 14 and endurance 14. Okay, I was wondering how it was going to do multi-enemy combat. Yeah, we got a dope-ass sword. You know what? Maybe it has some, like, hidden skill to it. I guess that's better than the Gyat Spear. Whoa, what would the Gyat Spear look like? What do you think a Gyat Spear would look like? Alright, so... Gyak Troopers. So they have a so they have a combat skill of 14 and an endurance of 14. We have a combat skill of 16 and an endurance of 26. So that means we have a +2 advantage. All right. Are we gonna get another 7? We're rolling hella 7s with this guy. A 0. Oh no. Uh-oh. Okay, so a 0 and a +2. Whoa! Are you shitting me? No, Zeb, this was good. A 0 and a +2? We just annihilated both of these guys in one fell swoop. Look at that. They are done. Nice. We're doing good, man. We're kicking ass. Oh fuck! I didn't save our. You hear you're about to hit the reroll? Oh no. Okay, here we go. 430. If you win the combat, turn to 535. Okay. I need to be making sure I'm just doing this every time. Whoa! Oh, okay, we got a novel to read. You pass the sword blade through your belt. Record this weapon on your action chart if you have not already done so. And press on to reach the lever of the wall which controls the doors. You're now feeling unsteady on your feet. The blood is pounding loudly in your ears. This is the first time you have killed in combat. And although you have carried out your duty with admirable skill, you now feel both excited and nauseous. Battle shock has left you in the grip of two conflicting emotions, elation and revulsion. You stagger to the barbican wall and raise the iron lever. Immediately, the great creaking doors begin to close. Several Gyak corpses are crushed flat, and their limbs severed when the two doors come together and lock shut with a resound. Damn, this is like God of War shit. This is something I had to be doing in God of War. Well fought, Silent Wolf, says Starfire, striding towards you, but you can barely hear his words for all the pounding in your head. As the shock of your first combat begins to subside, the Kai Master directs your gaze towards the top of the highest tower in the monastery. This magnificent edifice is called the Tower of the Sun, and it is where the Kai Masters have their halls of learning. Gotta run. Lone Wolf is a great series. Hope you continue on with it. There are 31 books with 36 second and final one coming out in a few years. Great stream. Hodor is Hodor is always the star of the hand cams. She is very photogenic, isn't she? But yeah, no, we'll definitely continue on with at least the first series if I get through with it. We only do hand cam streams usually once a week, so it might be some slow going, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for the follow and thank you for dropping by. Hope you have a good night and we'll catch you next time, huh? The highest level belongs to the leader of the Kai Grandmaster Braveblade. Silent Wolf, I have an important task for you. Look up there at the very top of the tower and tell me what you see. You comply with Starfire's request. Despite the unnatural darkness and the countless numbers of Kron that are now circling the skies above, you can make out a large gem-like crystal which is set into the tip of an elaborate spire fashioned from rune-carved steel. I see the crystal beacon, my lord, you reply. Just so. I want you to go there now and fire up the beacon. It will warn the king and Holmgard that the Dark Lords are attacking. Do you understand? Aye, my lord. Starfire looks towards the spire and frowns. Something is wrong. The sentinels of the tower should have set off the beacon by now. I fear they must have fallen. Starfire's grim thoughts are broken when suddenly a second wave of flying creatures comes swooping down towards the monastery. These are much larger than the Kron of the first wave, and slung below their black bellies are nets filled with Giaks, attired in battle armor, and equipped with swords and shields. Zlan Beast! Exclaims Starfire. That accursed Zagama! So this is how he plans to defeat us. One of these great black Zlan beasts comes swooping down to hover above the training park. A cloaked rider releases its net and a score of armed Giaks come crashing down. Several are crushed to death upon impact, but the majority survive, and quickly they cut themselves free from the net. As soon as they are freed, they spread out and attack any Kai who are out in the open. Go, Silent Wolf, urges Starfire as he steels himself to counter the enemy's airborne attack. Go now and fire up the beacon! As Starfire hurries back towards the training park to meet the enemies in combat, you peer through the eerie gloom. Your keen eyes searching out the shortest route, which will take you to the beacon. The great door to the Tower of the Sun has been sealed from the inside to prevent the enemy from gaining access, so you now must find an alternate way to enter. There are several doors which lead into the many halls of the monastery at ground level. However, only one of them now remain open. It is located beneath a large balcony at the top of the broad granite ramp, and it permits entry into the Kai Master's chambers. You resolve to enter the monastery by this way and set off at a run towards the ramp. Giak nets are being dropped more frequently now, and twice you are nearly crushed as you hurry around the training park and off towards the distant ramp. One net, released too soon, hits the middle of the granite ramp just as you reach it. All save one of the luckiest Giaks are killed by the tremendous impact, but the sole survivor is able to recover its senses and cut its way through the top. As you sprint up the ramp towards the open portal, this Giak leaps from the heap of netting and broken bodies and attacks you with a curved black sword. This Giak is in a state of shock and battle frenzy. It does not feel any pain. All wounds inflicted upon this enemy in the first two rounds of combat are halved, with any fractions rounded down. If the Giak loses 5 endurance points in the first round of combat, half this sum is 2.5. Therefore, the fraction should be ignored, and the loss is rounded down to 2 points. Alright, so he has a combat skill of 13 and an endurance of 13. So, what was it? I just read it. 13 and 13. Okay, so 1, 13, 13, 16, 26. So that gives me an advantage of +3. And we're going to roll on our D10. Another 0. Another 0. You know what? Next time, let's roll with a different dice, huh? We keep rolling samesies. All right, so a +3. A +3. 0. You know what? Honestly, Vibe, looking at this chart here, a 0. Oh, sorry. A 0. The enemy exclusively takes damage. Like the PC doesn't take any. And then if you roll a 1, so rolling a 1 is actually the critical failure, and a 0 is a critical hit, I guess. It's like rolling a 10. But yeah, if you roll a 1, oh god, PC could just be killed outright. If we had rolled a 1, it would have taken 5. I would have taken 4. So it has taken 8 damage because yeah, right? Yeah, because 16 it gets halved, so -8, so it's 7, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Wait, no. What? Can I do basic math? Can I do basic challenge? Impossible. 5, not 7. What the fuck am I thinking, dude? Can I do basic math? All right. All right, rolling with our next dice. Are you shitting me? All right, well, he's dead. Even at the half damage, he's dead. Hodor. I need to set up a separate cat cam for the days that we're doing hand cam, but she can't be here because we're actively doing things with paper. All right. If you win the combat, turn to 246. I used to have a cat cam in the early days of stream. But I've readjusted things and I don't have room for it where it used to be. What was it? 246. You leap over the dead Giek's body and run towards the top of the ramp. Several of your fellow initiates are busily constructing a barricade at the entrance to the Kai Master's chambers. And you hear them give a cheer as you come running towards them. Several witnessed your fight and are eager to congratulate you for slaying the Dark Spawn. Mindful of your mission, you urge them to complete their work and then hurry into the welcoming shelter of the chamber's entrance hall. This grand part of the monastery houses the apartments and personal libraries of the Kai Masters, the teaching members of the Kai Order. The entrance hall is usually devoid of any grand embellishments, but today is Femarn, and it is bedecked. It's bedazzled, and today it is bedazzled with all the battle banners and insignia of the Kai. You are distracted by the many glorious flags that are hanging from the buttressed ceiling, and you collide with the Kai Master who is hastening in the opposite direction towards the barricade. It is Swift Owl, but You said but. You said but. It is Swift Owl, a master especially gifted in the disciplines of the mind. Take courage, Silent Wolf, he says. Duty awaits you outside this day. Conquer your fear and be proud of what you are. Mistakenly, he has assumed that you are fleeing from the battle now raging in the monastery grounds. Forgive me, Master Swift Owl, you reply. But I am not afraid. You know what? I enjoy that it gives the player character, like, dialogue. Like, from what I remember from Choose Your Own Adventures, like, a lot of them didn't. Like, they completely avoided giving you dialogue. So I like not having a silent protag. Not so silent wolf. He's a yappy wolf. Yapping wolf. But I am not afraid to do my duty. I am under orders from Master Starfire. I am to make my way to the top of the Tower of the Sun and must trigger the crystal beacon. Swift Owl scowls. Then you feel a sudden wave of heat passing through your head, and at once you sense that he is using his psychic skills to tell if you are speaking the truth. A smile flickers for a moment on his tanned, craggy face. That way, child, he says, pointing to a distant door. Make haste, fire the beacon, do not fail. You hurry towards the arched doorway at the far end of the hall. Beyond it, there is a wide passageway lined with oak cupboards. Sounded like Yoda did. Did I? I was trying to. I was trying to do Sean Connery. Fire the beacon. Do not fail. Clearly, I cannot do Sean Connery. Sean Connery as Yoda. I am. You hurry towards the arched doorway at the far end of the hall. Beyond it, there is a wide passageway, lined with oak cupboards that stretch from floor to ceiling. You recognize this place. It is where spare furniture and equipment for the entrance hall is stored. If you wish to stop and search some of these cupboards, turn to 175. If you decide to hurry along the passageway without stopping, turn to 74. I think we're gonna stop, you know? Maybe we'll find some, like, goodies. Maybe we'll find a couple of, like, crowns and, you know, maybe something to eat. Maybe some kind of snack. Maybe some kind of snack. $374.75. The first three cupboards you open up contain only chairs and tables and antique pewter plates. But in the fourth, you discover a coil of rope and a dagger. If you wish to take the backpack item and weapon or both, make the necessary amendments to your action chart and then continue by turning to 74. Yo! Where are my eye drops here? Okay, so let's take dagger. Let's take a dagger. And then, did it just say coil of rope? Yeah, okay. Okay, I think we got some good items there. I think we got some good items there, chat. That's gonna help us out. All right, so we need to turn to 74. And excuse me if I say page. Obviously, I mean entry. Whoa! At the end of the passageway, you pass through a series of antechambers before arriving at the entrance to the Kai Master's Kitchens. The cooks have prepared a banquet feast for Femarn, and the tables and work surfaces are heaped with dishes of food and jugs of wine. The kitchen fires are blazing, and the heat in here feels furnace-like after the frosty chill of the training park. Drink the wine! Yeah. Let me drink the wine, or let me have this haunch of meat. Let me have this haunch of meat. You've barely taken a dozen steps into this parching cookery when there is a sudden explosion and deluge of shattered glass cascades from the ceiling. The cooks dive for The cooks dive for cucking. The cooks dive for cover beneath the tables as the broken fragments of stained glass rain down in a deadly shower upon this. Sorry, what? Cooking. Cover. The cooks dive for cover, obviously. Obviously. The enemy have landed upon the roof, and the Giaks are now smashing the skylights in an attempt to gain entry to the Kai Master's chambers. You grab a silver serving tray and cover your head as you run through the shower of splintered glass towards a heavy oak. Oh, wait a minute. We have healing. So I need to be back at 27 because we've gone through a number of things. We've gone through a number of events that have not been combat, so we can heal. I totally forgot about that. The tray saves you from serious injury, but one falling shard embeds itself in the knuckles of your left hand, causing you to yelp at the sudden pain. Damn it. Damn it. Well, there we go. Let's see. 26. Hurriedly, you reach the door, pull it open, and rush through into the corridor beyond. Briefly, you stop to pull the shard from your hand. Then you tear a narrow strip of cloth from the hem of your Kai cloak and bandage your bleeding hand before continuing. You know this corridor well. It leads towards your dormitory. At the end, there are two doors. One leads to a corridor that connects to the dormitory, and the other end leads out to the training park. If you wish to enter the door to your dormitory corridor, turn to 333. If you decide to open the door which leads out to the training park, turn to 374. I mean, we started the combat in the training park. So if we go back there, I think we're just going to be kind of like resetting behind. Now, you know, there's potential I could get like a spear or something from the training park, but those were only wood, so we don't necessarily want those. So, let's go to our dormitory because we might have some goods in our own little bunk, you know? Might have some goods in our bunk. You pull open the door and enter the arch-roofed corridor. 5 of your fellow cadets come hurrying towards you, clutching their weapons in readiness to join in the defense of the Kai Master's chambers. You step aside to allow them pass, and as they go by, you caution them about the attack now taking place above the Kai Master's kitchens. They thank you for the warning and raise the hoods of their cloaks as they pass on along the way you've just come. The arched corridor leads to a junction where another passageway leads off towards the Kai Armory. Directly ahead of you is the open door to your dormitory. If you wish to enter the dorm, turn to 192. If you wish to turn left and follow the passage toward the Kai Armory, turn to 50. I mean, clearly we need to go to the Kai Armory. Go take a nap. We got Eepy, you know. We got to heal that little shard in our hand. You got to heal that little. You know, we got to cut it. It hurts. No. We're gonna go to the armory, where we can maybe find some good gear. Good gear. Let's see here. You're approaching a right turn in the corridor when you hear the muffled sounds of combat coming from somewhere in the middle distance. You draw your weapon and peer around the corner, cautious and fearful of what awaits you beyond. At the far edge of the passageway, close to the armory door, you see a fellow initiate and friend of yours called Snow Falcon. The wall torches have been extinguished and the passageway is dark. But you know without a shred of doubt that it is your friend. His white hair and snowy albino skin glow dimly in the weak rays of light that are coming through the ragged frame of this passageway's shattered window. Snow Falcon is grappling with a GIAC assault trooper. The bodies of 2 other GIACs lie nearby, slain by your brave young friend. The GIAC strikes Snow Falcon a glancing blow to the head with the hilt of its sword, and as he falls backwards, you see blood flowing from his forehead and running into his eyes. Snow Falcon is suddenly blinded. He reels away, and when his back hits the armory door, the GIAC snickers evilly. It raises its sword and gets ready to deliver your friend a killing blow. If you have an axe, turn to 166. If you do not have an axe, turn to 477. And we do not have an axe. So we have a sword and a dagger. You know, yeah. This is a big oh no, because if you remember earlier on, we were saved by our Kai Master because of his axe. So hopefully we could save our friend, but we may have just lost him. We may have just lost him in this vicious attack, chat. 477. You unsheathe your weapon and charge headlong down the passageway, screaming as loudly as you can. The sudden commotion makes the GIAC spin around. This creature can see clearly in the dark, and when it sees you charging towards it, yelling like a madman, it draws back its sword and gets ready to block your first attacking blow. GIAC Assault Trooper, 1312. 1312. Okay. So he has 13, 12 versus our 16 and 27 because we healed. Okay. 5. We rolled a 5. So we have a +3 advantage. So 5 on a +3. So the enemy takes 9 damage and we take 2. This is the first time we've actually taken damage from an enemy. So -9 -2, so 25 and 3. See, Chad, I can do basic math. All right, round 2. And you doubted me. You doubted I could do basic math. I just did that. Look at that. A 4. People clap. All right. We rolled a 4 at a +3, so the enemy takes 8 damage. So he's dead. And then we take 2 damage. So now we are at a 23. All right. If you win this combat, turn to 274. Come on, come on. One page. There we go. Whoa. You step over the Giac's lifeless body and approach your wounded friend, anxious that he may be seriously injured. Fortunately, the wound appears to be worse than it really is, and Snow Falcon is soon able to stem the bleeding by the use of his own Kai healing skill. You were always the best fighter in class, he says with a grin. Wait, what? Okay. He says with a grin as carefully you wipe the blood from his eyes with the edge of your Kai cloak. It's a good job for you that I had to practice this morning, you retort. Aye, it is, he replies. Thank you, my friend. You saved my life. I hope one day I'll be able to return the favor. But now I must join the fray. Oh, I wonder if we had an axe then, if we, like, instantly kill the Giac, but the Giac was able to make a fatal blow on our friend here. I don't know. The Giacs are everywhere. I fear the monastery shall be overwhelmed. Come, join me. We shall fight side by side like a true Kai. You tell Snow Falcon that you have an important order to carry out for Master Starfire, but you will seek him out once the task is done. Kai be with you, Silent Wolf. He calls out as he hurries away to join the battle. May Kai be with us all this day, you call back. Then you give a salute and watch your brave friend until he disappears from view around the distant corner. With an ever-growing sense of dread, you turn back towards the armory, push it open, and enter. Turn to 447. Most of the weapons that are usually stored in the racks of the Kai armory have already been taken by your brethren. Now only a few remain. Dagger, warhammer, spear, sword, quarterstaff, Kai shield. +2 combat skill when used in combat with any weapon. Special item adorned with a red and gold. Whoa! We have to take the shield, right? If you wish to take one or more of the weapons above, do so and make necessary adjustments to your action chart. You may only carry 2 weapons at a time. So I'm assuming that it is treating a shield as one of your weapons, because it doesn't specify, so that's how I'm going to assume it's doing. So we're going to put up our sword and dagger. Our sword and dagger, get a spear, and a Kai shield. So that means we have plus 2, +2, and a +2. So for Mind Blast, spear, and a shield. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 19. We have a fucking 20. We also have ads, so we'll be right back, chat. We'll be right back. All right, back to it. Back to it, chat. So, yeah, so we've taken this. We've taken our spear, and we've taken our Kai shield. Man, I am quite glad we decided to go to the armory, huh? Instead of going back out to the training grounds. Who knows what kind of crap we could have gotten at the training grounds, man? We got some good shit here. Oh, 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 no, no, no. I totally, I need to read. This is a special item. It is not part of my weapons, actually. So, no, we still have a dagger. Excuse me. Good night, good luck with the. Oh, thank you, Squirrel. Yeah, it's going pretty well so far. So hopefully we keep this luck up. But yeah, we'll catch you next time. Hope you have a great night. Thank you for stopping by. I forgot there was a whole different like panel for special items. So yeah, yeah. So we have our spear and a dagger. I feel like keeping the dagger is gonna be a bit more important than keeping the sword. You know, we might get into like a close quarters skirmish, and like I have to have a dagger or something, you know. All right, turn to 93. Yeah, I'm glad I reread that. Turn to 93. You leave the armory by a door which leads to the ground level. One of the monastery's great house towers. Your hope is that the Barbican and its fortified gallery, which protects the main gate, are both still secure. If they are, you will be able to use the gallery to reach the second gatehouse tower. Your intention is to gain access to the Tower of the Sun that way. You know that there is a stone portal in the north wall of the stables. It is used by your Kai masters and also by Grandmaster Braveblade himself when they are in need of a horse for their travels afar. A wide stone stair spirals up towards the top of the first tower. As you ascend it, the concussive boom of explosions grows steadily louder, and the steps shudder alarmingly beneath your feet. Ugh. Fat cat. Fat cat. I lost my spot. Concussive boom of explosions grows steadily louder, and the steps shudder alarmingly beneath your feet. When finally you reach the top of the spiral stair, you discover that the tower's lookout chamber is filled with smoke. The lifeless body of a Barbican guard lies crumpled on the stone floor, with a black shafted arrow embedded in the top of his skull. He has fallen beside a ladder, which gives access to a trapdoor in the tower roof. Through the acrid smoke, you can see a dark shape moving at the top of the ladder. The smoke stings your eyes, making it difficult to see clearly, but your senses tell you, at once, it is a GIAC assault trooper. This deadly foe has been landed on the roof. Wait, what? This deadly foe has been landed on the roof and has managed to fight its way to the tower through the narrow trap door. As he descends, you sense that he is not alone. He is being hurried down the ladder by several others. Away to your right, there is an archway which leads to the fortified gallery which spans the main gate. At the end of this suspended passageway is the door to the second tower. If you wish to kick the base of the ladder and make it topple over, turn to 409. If you choose not to kick the ladder, you can escape from the smoke and the approaching GX by quickly entering the fortified gallery. Turn to 45. I think we're going to do that. You know, we don't need to risk needless confrontation, chat. We don't need to risk needless confrontation, you know? So yeah, we're gonna turn to 45. and just head on out. The gallery floor shudders and broken plaster cascades from its ceiling as you run through this battered, dust-choked passageway towards the second gatehouse tower. Quickly, you push open the tower door and witness a scene that makes you cry out with shock and anger. A gaping hole has been torn from the tower wall. The blast of the explosion which destroyed the wall has also killed 3 Kai sentinels who are posted here and allowed the enemy to gain entry unopposed. 2 Gyaks are crouching over the corpses of your dead comrades, gleefully mutilating their bodies with long serrated knives. Fired by sudden rage and revulsion, you unsheath your weapon and attack these ghoulish Gyaks before they can turn their cruel blades upon you. Due to the speed and ferocity of your attack, you may increase your combat skill by 2 points for the duration of this fight. Damn! We're gonna come into this fight stacked, chat. Alright, so, I've been forgetting to heal, so you know what? If we forget to heal, that's on me. So we're gonna start this fight with 24. But damn, so we start it with let's see here. Oh, this is from our Four Against Darkness campaign. So we have 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 from the explosive start. So we have 22 versus 14, 15. So that gives us a, what, a 12 advantage? A 12 advantage? No, an 8. It gives us an 8 advantage. I can do math. An 8. That's a pretty big advantage there, huh? I could do math, chat, I promise. It was my least it wasn't my best class, but I could do math. Writing was my best. I can write better than I can math. Okay, so we need to roll. We need to roll 7 again. Okay. So 7 at a +8. The enemy takes -14 and we take 0. So -14. That leaves them with 1 health. Leaves them with 1 health. We've almost annihilated them. We've almost annihilated them, chat. So what are we gonna do next, huh? A 3. A 3 at a +8. So they take 9 damage and I do take 2 damage. So we're gonna be at 22 and they are dead. And they are dead. So we beat that in 2 rounds. So if you win the combat in 3 rounds or less, turn to 182. As the second Gyak shrieks and falls, clutching desperately at the mortal wound you have dealt its throat. You sense sudden movement behind your back. Spinning around, you see a Gyak assault trooper framed in the open doorway. It is the Gyak you saw earlier. The one who was damn. We tried to avoid needless combat and got more combat. spinning around, you see a GIAC assault trooper framed in the open tower doorway. It is the GIAC you saw earlier. The one who was descending the ladder from the roof of the South Gatehouse Tower. As it raises its spiked mace and comes rushing forwards, you sidestep and then bring your weapon up to parry its attack. The mace connects with bone-jarring force, but your swift action turns its deadly head aside, and you escape unscathed. Shrieking with frustration, the GIAC strikes again. This time, it aims a crushing blow at your unprotected forehead. Squad Sergeant. Ooh, he's a big boy. So he has 13, 14. I have 20, 22. So that is a 7 advantage. All right. I rolled a 7. Why does this keep happening? What is with this dice? This is my second dice. It's the second one. They can't both be loaded. All right, so a 7 at a 7. 7 at a 7. 14-0. Man. Okay, so he's dead and we've taken no damage. We are slaughtering fucking everything that gets in our path. Absolutely everything. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, here we go. If you win the combat, turn to 258. Oh, gosh. Okay, we got a lot to read, chat. Let me wet my whistle. Let me wet my whistle. Through the hole in the tower wall, you observe another wave of Kron and Zlon beast approaching from the west. You catch only a fleeting glimpse of this third wave through the billowing clouds of smoke, which are much thicker than before. All of the small battlement fires have now connected, and the monastery's entire northwest quarter is fiercely ablaze. Your stomach churns at the sight of this terrible destruction, but your determination to complete the task that Starfire has set you does not falter. With a growing sense of dread, you descend the tower's staircase and pass along a passage which connects the tower to the Kai stables. The banded oak door to the stables is locked. The surface is giving off wisps of smoke, and the iron drawbolt is hot to the touch as you pull it back. Quickly, you raise the hood of your cloak and wrap it closely around you. Then you take a deep breath and pull open the door. Fire is eating through the middle of the stable roof, and burning tiles and timbers are falling from above. This building is partitioned into several stalls for horses, but fortunately, they seem to have escaped the blaze. You see that the main doors which lead to the training park are wide open. Suddenly, you hear the neighing of two frightened horses that are still trapped in their stalls at the far end of the stables. Bravely, you make your way through the flaming debris and release the first horse from its stall. As you're approaching the stall occupied by the second horse, your heart sinks when you see that the portal which leads to the Tower of the Sun is blocked by a tangle of blazing timbers and shattered roof tiles. Entry by this way is now impossible. Through the gaping hole in the stable roof, you can see the top of the tower looming above the smoke and flames. A desperate fight is taking place up there, around the base of its crystal spire. One last remaining Kai Sentinel is bravely defending. Let me readjust something here for a second. Sorry about that. One last remaining Kai Sentinel is bravely defending the beacon from attack by GIEK Assault Squad that has been landed from the air by Kron. Fearful that this single brave Kai Lord cannot hold the enemy at bay for very much longer, you resolve to find another route into the tower. With its main door now closed and sealed, there is but one other way to gain entry to the tower from inside the monastery grounds, via the Kai Chapel in the northeast quarter. However, in order to reach the chapel, you'll have to cross the burning battlefield that was once the monastery's training park and ground. Oh, so we probably should have... we would have saved time if we went through the training grounds, actually, but we wouldn't have gotten our spear and shield, so, you know. You pull open the stall and leap into the frightened horse's back, as immediately it bolts for the open doors. With grim determination, you hang on to the horse by its mane and attempt to steer it safely through the combat and the carnage that await you outside. The enemy is far greater in number than before, and only a handful of Kai are now fighting them out in the open. The unexpected appearance of a single rider confuses the GIEKs towards the distant chapel. Those who attempt to block you are trampled swiftly under your horse's hooves before they are able to strike. The speed and audacity of your action carries you safely across the training park and to within a few dozen yards of the chapel door, to where a group of determined Kai are defending the entrance. You're getting ready to dismount and run the final few yards to the doorway when an enemy soldier, clad fully in black steel armor, takes notice of your actions and raises his crossbow. He is a Drakkar, one of the brutal species of humanoid warriors in the service of Dark Lord Zagama's army, who have arrived with the third wave. With cool and ruthless efficiency, this battle-hardened soldier tracks your movements, takes careful aim, then slowly squeezes the trigger of his heavy crossbow. If you possess the Kai discipline of Mind Blast and wish to use it, turn to 156. If you possess Mind Over Matter, 344. If you have neither, 464. We have Mind Blast, right? That is what that's called? Yes. Okay, so we have Mind Blast, and we're going to use it. So we're going to turn to 156. Gonna turn to 156, and since we didn't have a combat round, we're gonna heal. Your psychic senses have been heightened and sharpened by the myriad dangers surrounding you. Instinctively, your eyes are drawn to the distant Drakkar, who is about to fire his crossbow. You sense he is the greatest threat to your life at this moment in time. Hurriedly, you focus on his black helm and direct a pulse of psychic energy towards it. The pulse you release is weak and unsteady. yet it is sufficient to spoil his aim just enough to spare your life. He fires, and the steel bolt comes whistling towards you, to pass by your head by barely a hand's breadth. Wow, so we made it up pretty close there. Made it up pretty close there. Whoa. 24. There we go. Boop. Turn to 291. I was kind of worried that maybe if we threw off his aim, he was going to hit our horse and we were going to like crash land or something, you know? 291, right? Yeah, 291. You steer your horse towards the door of the Kai Chapel, where a dozen or more Giaks are trying to force their way through its partially shattered door. A pair of young Kai initiates are defending the entrance, stabbing and slicing at the attackers with their swords as they try to climb through the door's ragged, V-shaped hole. Your brave horse carries you directly into this tight-knit group of attackers, scattering their rear ranks and crushing those in the center with its steel-shod hooves. He rears up and uses his forelegs like twin hammers, raining a rapid series of blows upon their heads that batters them senseless. You unsheathe your weapon and slip from his back. As your feet touch the black, blood-soaked ground, you are set upon by a handful of snarling, vengeful Giaks. You slay two of their number and break the jaw of a third with a swift, backhanded slash. Excuse me. Get inside, silent wolf, comes a cry from the chapel. It is the voice of Rain Dove, a friend and fellow initiate. Heeding her cry, you dive headlong through the narrow gap in the chapel door and somersault to a halt on the stone floor beyond. Rain Dove and her brave companion, Steel Sky, block the gap as soon as you're safely through. Using one of the chapel's heavy wooden pews, the Giaks pound at the hastily barricaded door, but the portal remains secure. At least for now. Inside the chapel, there are less than 24 Kai who have sought sanctuary here from the battle. All of them are bloodied and torn from the fight. 2 young Kai acolytes, both badly wounded themselves, are trying to comfort a Kai journeyman whose left hand has been severed at the wrist. They are using their healing skills in unison in an attempt to stop the bleeding. It touches you deeply to see these young Kai are selflessly forsaking their own needs in order to help their wounded elder. You fought well, Silent Wolf, says Steel Sky. We saw you ride out from the stables. I didn't think you'd make it across the training park alive. I was never in any doubt, retorts Rain Dove. I knew you'd survive. Hurriedly, you tell your friends of the urgent task you must fulfill for Kai Master Starfire. They, too, know of the portal, which leads from the sacricity of... Leads from the sacricity. I've never heard that word before. Sacricity of this chapel to the lower hall of the Tower of the Sun. Rain Dove urges you to investigate it at once. The two of you hurry towards the altar positioned at the north end of this prayer hall. The gold surface of the altar is embellished with the sun symbols of the Kai god, and the moon symbols of the goddess Ishir. You offer up a silent prayer to them to preserve you and your fellow Kai this day. As you pass around the altar and enter the small sacricity chamber beyond, here is where the holy robes and the blessed artifacts of the Kai order are kept. Positioned beside the west wall of the sacricity is a large stone tomb, the last resting place of Iron Pearl, a former Grand Kai master. Sacricity, plural and sacricities, a room in a church where priest prepares for service. and where vestments and other things used in worship are kept. Okay, so it's a sacred storeroom, basically. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Vibe. Held by brackets on the top of his tomb is a replica of the Grand Master's famous Iron Pearl broadsword. New one for you too. Yeah, I've never heard it before. You may unhook this weapon. Excuse me. I just got a Discord message. You may unhook this weapon from its brackets and use it if you wish. Kai lore expressly states that it may only ever be used if the monastery should itself come under attack. If you already possess 2 weapons, you must now discard one in its favor. Oh! So I was saying, chat, you know, it might be nice to have that dagger if we, like can't use our spear in close quarters combat. However, should we get this Iron Pearl broadsword and get rid of our dagger? Because specifically it's being used as the monastery is under attack, so maybe it has a special property. I think we're going to take it. I think we're going to take it, chat. Our weapon panel has quickly become disheveled, hasn't it? So let's see. Iron Pearl broadsword. Okay. All right. Hopefully that turns out to be a pretty cool weapon, huh? Rain Dove pulls aside a large, heavy gold velvet curtain, which hangs from a stout wooden rail on the wall beside the tomb. Behind this curtain is a stone door which leads to the lower hall of the Tower of the Sun. There is no handle to this heavy door. Only 3 cylindrical tumblers which are inscribed with numerals. In order to open the portal, you must align the 3 numbers so that the correct 3-digit code... Oh no. We know my luck with fucking dial codes. We know my luck with that shit. That the correct 3-digit code appears in sequence on their facing. The first number is equal to the number of Gieks you found mutilating the corpses of slain... I haven't been keeping track of that. Wait. There was 2. There was 2, and then their sergeant came in, right? Oh man. Okay, so we need to be keeping track of like special numbers like that too. Oh shit. Okay. So let's see here. So I'm Yeah, who set this combination? How did they know? How did they know this number? So I think it was 2. The second number is equal to the number of horses you discovered trapped in the burning stables. Hi, Kahako. So we had the 1 horse, and then we had the horse that we got on, so it was 2. Ooh, so oh man, I think this number, the first number is either 3 or 2. I'm pretty sure it's 2 though. The third numeral is equal to the number of Gieks who offered to surrender to you during the Battle of the Training Park. We didn't go to the training park, so we don't know. If you are able to answer... Okay, I like how they did this. If you are able to answer these 3 questions... Write down your answers in the correct order, and then turn to the numbered section they indicate. If you're unable to answer so you could have like 325 and then go to 325, or 321 and go to 321. That's a really fun way to do that. If you're unable to answer these questions, or if your answers prove to be incorrect, turn instead to 361. So yeah, we never had any of them surrender to us, so we just flat out don't know the number, so we can't answer that. So let's go to 361. How you doing, Kahako? Hope you're doing well today. We're kind of kicking ass. We're kind of kicking ass in this game. We've slain everything that is coming across our path in like 2 to 3 turns, or less. So 361, pretty good. Just chilling, yo. You love a good chill. Despite your best efforts to find the correct combination of numbers, that will really. You need to do your which one? Oh, yeah. Speaking of, I just found a really cool one too, but it's only kickstarted. But I would really like to do it. Let me find the Instagram post right quick. So Swamp Troll Witches. You go through a bog and find all your stuff, and then you try to sell the potions you've made in this troll bog. So that one seems fun. Carved by the Garden.
Games I've ever played. In this game, you are a person who is drawn into an ancient magic forest. You use playing cards to prompt what you find there and what you learn about yourself. This game also uses a Jenga tower, which really creates a mounting sense of dread. The Almanac of Sanguine Paths.
That one, the second one. The second one seems fucking incredible. Carved by the Garden. I really want to get that. I really want to get Carved by the Garden. Ancient magic forest, yo, yeah. With your witches, you got your witches in the ancient magic forest. Yeah, no, Carved by the Garden. I really want to get that, but it seems like it's exclusively like a Kickstarter thing right now. So I need to look more into it. Despite your best efforts to find the correct combination of numbers that will release this lock, the stone portal remains resolutely locked. Exasperated by the delay, you use the broadsword from Iron Pearl's tomb and attempt to prise open the door, but there is no avail. The door cannot be forced open. There is a sudden explosion in the adjoining chapel, and you and your companion are thrown to the floor by the shockwave. The enemy have used a powerful magical charge to destroy the barricaded door. You are staggering to your feet when a second explosion, much louder and fiercer than the first, hurls you across the sacristy and slams you hard against the wall. The enemy have set off a second charge. Sorry, there was a... looked like a comma. Set off a second charge above the chapel. And this has caused the entire roof to collapse inward with devastating effect. Before you can recover your senses and get back on your feet, you are crushed by a falling roof timber and buried beneath a deluge of shattered tiles. Oh no! But deluge of shattered tiles, darkness engulfs you, and you feel no pain. You have fought with great skill and bravery this day, like a true Kai warrior. But sadly, you have now joined the ranks of the fallen on this fateful Femarn morn. Tragically, your life and your noble mission ends here in the sacristy of the Kai Chapel. We died because we wanted to immediately go here. So, oh man. We've immediately died. So, okay, so we need to pay attention to... Oh man, what was... Okay, so we got... I guess we gotta start over. So we gotta pay attention to the number of Giaks you found mutilating the corpses of slain Kai guards. The number of horses that we trapped in the burning stables. The third... So when I was looking up a video about this, they sort of created save points for themselves. And I'm not really sure about the best way to go about that. Maybe doing it every, I don't know, 5 turns, every 10 turns. I don't know. So we have a reasonable idea that it's gonna be 22 something or 32 something. So let's so 22 222. Do you think it's gonna be that simple of a lock? Oh, these aren't page numbers. These actually correspond to... Okay. Well, shit. So, I'm wondering how I know that it's actually, it was actually a Rock Falls everyone dies scenario, yeah. It sure was. Oh, okay, chat. We're gonna give ourselves this one, okay? So, I think we actually technically kind of had the answer, and I was thinking a little too hard about it. So, 220. So we figured out. So we figured out. You know, it was two guys mutilating the corpse. It was 2 horses, and then the other one was how many enemies surrendered in the training ground. And we did have one fight in the training ground, but you know, I was assuming it was thinking about the second time we went around, because we had the option to go to the training ground again, and I was kind of assuming that that's where I would have gotten the answer. But we actually had 0 enemies surrender to us because we killed them immediately, and that's actually the answer. So do we give ourselves a go? Since we didn't really decide how to do a save point, I think we do. I think we'll go ahead and do it, chat. You would say yeah? Yeah. Just so I don't have to like. You guys think so? Okay. We'll give ourselves the mulligan, okay? And then we'll make ourselves a save spot. Let's say every. Oh, I need to find a countdown die, don't I? Let's give ourselves a save spot every 10 events. I think that'll be good. So we'll start at 10. We'll give ourselves a save spot every 10 events. Okay, so we've rewound the clock. We used our psychic vision to know what was going to happen if we tried to pry open the door, and instead we just fiddle with the lock and we get it right. You hear a dull, stony click when you rotate the 3rd tumbler into position. Now the next time, you know, if we die between here and the 10th action, that's actually gonna be game over. that will actually be game over. You hear a dull, stony click when you rotate the 3rd tumbler into position. Then silently, the heavy portal swings open to reveal a torchlit passageway. Rain Dove bids you good luck. You pause to shake her hand and return her sentiment before setting off along the passage. Because, you know, it's also entirely possible that even if we set a save spot, we also just get into a scenario where we can't continue because every option that we have always leads to like a dead end, you know? It's possible. It's possible. So that's gonna be the luck of the go, huh? This narrow stone-walled corridor ends at a stout wooden door, and I feel like I'm kind of rationalizing it, but we actually had the answer. I was just thinking a little too much about it. Because we had 2, 2, and 0. So we had the answer. It's just, I didn't brain it right. Anyway, I don't need to justify it. We're just having fun. We're just having fun here. I save scummed, okay? I save scummed. This narrow, stone-walled corridor ends at a stout wooden door. It's banded with strips of polished brass and studded with silver-headed nails that shimmer in the flickering torchlight. You twist its heavy handle and breathe. You're gonna have to report me to the police. Oh no, not the Twitch cops. Not the Twitch police. What are they gonna do? Wee-oo. You need to log off, sir. You need to log off now. This let's see. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna bean me with their petty wax. I don't know what those are called. they're oh man, what are those called? It doesn't matter. Beyond the door is the grand hall of the Kai. Here is where the most important formal occasions take place. The hall where the higher ranks of the Kai dine and entertain royal or noble foreign visitors. It is the most lavishly decorated of all the halls of the monastery. The vast chamber is eerily empty and quiet, save for the faint noises of the battle coming from beyond its formidable main door, and the soft crackling of a large fire, which is burning in the hall's magnificent marble fireplace. You explore the hall and satisfy yourself that there are no high-ranking Kai present here. Those that are still alive are outside, doing battle with the Gyak invaders. All of the large exterior doors to this hall have been locked and then nailed shut from the inside. There is a smaller door located under the wide stone staircase, but when you twist its polished gold handle, you discover it is locked. The only way you can leave the grand hall is by the passageway that will take you back to the Kai Chapel, or by ascending a stone staircase which occupies its northeast corner. This gleaming white marble staircase gives you access to the floor above. If you wish to search the grand hall for items that may be of use to you, turn to 66. We're going to do a search. However, chat, if I make a save point, our endurance that we are at that time, I feel like as a way to counteract the freebie, that the endurance that we're at, I think will become our new permanent score, just to sort of like even us out. So our new permanent score is 24. I think that's a fair trade-off. So that still gives me a disadvantage for like having to use a save spot. So yeah, we're gonna turn to 66. We're gonna be on 9. And let's find out. Let's see if we get any good items, huh? Above the grand marble fireplace hangs a large silk tapestry, woven with silver and gold thread, and embellished with precious gemstones. It depicts a famous event in the history of Summerland. King Ulnar I's victory over Dark Lord Vashna upon the very brink of the Makin Gorge chasm. Hanging on the walls on either side of the great tapestry are 2 pairs of finely crafted weapons. These once belonged to famous Kai masters of old. These weapons are... Whoa, hi Orphea. Oh, oh gosh. Fishing is... Give me a second. You got a thong. Hi, Saber. There we go. You tried. These weapons are beautifully made and perfectly weighted. You may choose to take and use a maximum of 2. Each weapon... Whoa! These all have a +1. Yo! You know what? we're gonna keep the Pearl Master's broadsword, I think. But yeah, good to know. Good to know. Make a note of this special bonus on your action chart, and remember to erase any weapons you may already be carrying. It's fun. We actually just died to a unavoidable event, so we gave ourselves a mulligan, and now we're gonna make a save point every 10 actions. But yeah, we had no option. It just collapsed on us. We weren't able to get away. We just fucking died. But otherwise, it's going pretty fun. We've been slaughtering everything that has come across our path. Set against the hall's north wall is a large, ornately carved chest of drawers, fashioned from mahogany and gold. This was a gift to the Kai Order from the Queen Evane of Telestria. Following her visit here 3 years ago, you search through the drawers and discover the following items. Yeah. I didn't expect there to be instant death scenario. Well, I guess I wouldn't say I wasn't surprised by it, but I didn't expect it so soon. The other thing though is now we know that we need to be making note of things like how many guys were mutilating a corpse, or how many horses did we find, or how many chalices were there. So we need to be making notes of those now. So it was a learning experience. But these kind of things are notorious for instant death scenarios. I just didn't expect it so soon, you know? And discover the following items. Laum Spur, that'll restore 4 endurance points when swallowed. Ooh. Kai Battle Crystal, an explosive grenade. A Kai Sleep Crystal, also a grenade. And a Kai Gold Key. Okay, so we're gonna keep all of those. I'm gonna put those on our list here, and then we'll be back after this ad break. So we'll be back a couple minutes. What do you mean, you? What do you mean, you? Alright, once you have completed your search of the Grand Hall, you may continue your mission by ascending the Grand Marble Staircase to the floor above. So 518. Oh man, we're like at the end of the book here, dang. We have a lot of story bits now. Now that we had all that all that raucous combat earlier. You ascend to the first floor of the Tower of the Sun. This level is divided into 4 smaller halls known as the Lore Halls. They are used by your masters for the study and teaching of lore circles of the Magna Chi. The advanced the advanced Kai disciplines and combinations of advanced disciplines that they employ to powerful effect. This is the first time you have ever set foot in these hallowed halls and cannot help but marvel at the thousands of rare tomes and manuscripts that are stacked in neat rows upon the shelves that line the walls from floor to ceiling. In the northwest corner of the Lore Halls of Solaris, you find another stone staircase leading to the floor above. Hurriedly, you ascend its granite steps and emerge into the Kai Master's Hall. This grand chamber has several large pillars of fluted granite which support the floor of the chamber above, and there is a large stone throne set upon a raised dais which abuts the east wall. This is the place where the masters hold their meetings, and where Grandmaster Braveblade consults with them. The throne is where the Grand Master sits during these addresses. The walls of the Kai Master's halls are decorated with gold-framed paintings depicting proud moments in the history of Summerland and the Order of the Kai. Behind a drawn curtain in the northeast corner, you discover another stone staircase, which ascends to the top floor turret above. Few of the lower ranks have ever trod these steps before, for they lead to the personal chambers of the Grand Master himself. I keep losing my place. Mindful of your mission, you climb the steps and emerge into an ornately wood-paneled room, which is lined with bookshelves. Above these shelves, in a gallery which encircles the chamber. Up there, on the gallery level, are kept some of the rarest and most precious academic works of the Order. The ladder, which normally affords access to the gallery, lies broken in pieces on the floor. Set into the walls at regular intervals are several narrow windows, which are glazed with panes of pure Karen crystal. You approach one of these in the south wall and look through it, but the view you are expecting to see of the training park below is obscured by fog of a thick smoke coming from the blazing settlements below, from the blazing battlements, and you are unable to see how the desperate battle is progressing below. You turn away from the window and look up at the gallery once more. A banistered handrail extends all the way around it, and as you follow the line of this rail, you notice a platform set back into the northeast corner. Here, another ladder ascends to a trapdoor aperture in the ceiling. Your pulse quickens when you realize that this is the way to the top of the tower, to where the crystal beacon is located. In order for you to reach this ladder, you must first find a way to climb up the gallery. If you possess a rope, turn to 5. If you do not, turn to 3 or 2. We have a rope. We got it from pretty early on in the game, remember? Coil of rope. So, let's go to 5. pretty early on, huh? You swiftly retrieve your rope from your backpack and tie one end around a small leather-bound book, which you find resting on the Grand Master's map table. Skillfully, you cast the book and rope upwards so that it passes through the banisters. Then you pull the rope taut and draw the book back until it lodges firmly between two of the wooden palings. Quickly, you test your weight. Once you are sure that it will support you, you climb up and haul yourself over the rail above. You reclaim your rope and stow it away in your backpack. Then you make your way along the gallery towards the roof ladder. I was hoping we weren't going to lose it, but that was, totally possible. Continue to 186. At the bottom of the ladder lies the corpse of a Kai mistress. She has suffered many deep wounds to her head, neck, and shoulders, and is barely recognizable. Yet despite her terrible injuries, you are able to identify her from the unique design of her Kai cloak clasp. Here lies the body of Mistress Truepath, one of the Kai Order's finest scouts. You take hold of her lifeless hand, and it is still warm. She has been dead for less than an hour. You find her bloodied handprint on the handle of a lever at the base of the ladder, and slowly you're able to piece together what must have happened during the final few minutes of this courageous woman's life. Mistress Truepath was sent by Grandmaster Braveblade to fulfill the same task that you are now undertaking, to activate the crystal beacon. From the nature of her wounds, you judge that she must have been attacked by several enemies the instant she tried to climb out onto the roof of the tower. Her left ankle is also badly broken, indicating that she fell from the ladder and landed here. During the final few minutes of her life, she must have been in terrible pain. Yet still, she was able to pull the lever and seal off the trapdoor, denying her killer's entry to this chamber. And further, she was able to destroy the gallery's ladder so that if the enemy were to breach this trapdoor, they would be further delayed upon reaching this point. Your throat tightens when you realize that the enemies who killed Mistress Truepath are very likely to be waiting on the roof for the next Kai attempting to breach the beacon. All of your survival instincts are screaming at you not to go up onto the roof, but you have a duty to fulfill. And the longer you delay, the more likely the enemy are of finding a way to destroy the beacon before it can be triggered. Fearful of the fate awaiting you above, you try to think of some way you can increase your chances of surviving this final, most dangerous part of your perilous mission. If you possess a Kai battle crystal, turn to 416. If you possess a sleep crystal, turn to 312. And if you choose neither, 471. I feel like let's use the sleep crystal. Let's use the sleep crystal because we're basically like at our goal. So like we don't want to risk destroying the crystal or destroying the beacon with a grenade. So let's use the sleep crystal. That'll put him to sleep, and maybe we can like do a little stabby while they're eeping. All right, so 5. And we need to go to 312. You retrieve the Kai sleep crystal from your backpack. You have been trained in the use of this device, and you can tell by the milky gray hue of the liquid held inside its apple-sized shell that this one has been filled and ready for use. You twist the upper half of the device 6 full rotations. Every twist will delay its detonation by 1 second. Then you lift the trapdoor lever, tap the crystal hard on the wall to activate it, and hurl it through the aperture as the trapdoor slides above your head. Swiftly, you pull the lever down. Again, closing the trapdoor to prevent the crystal from falling back on you. Moments later, you hear a sharp crack from the roof above, followed closely by the sound of sharp crack. Followed closely by the sound of Giex choking. When you can no longer hear the sounds of their coughing and sputtering, you unsheathe your weapon and push the lever down once more. Then slowly you climb the ladder, hoping that the sleeping gas released from the crystal will have done its job. Oh, give me just a second. Sorry about that. Your precaution is not necessary. The sleeping gas has already been dissipated by the icy wind that whistles through the crenellations of the monastery's tallest tower. 2 GIEK assault troopers lie on the tiled floor, snoring loudly. A third enemy, a Drakkar in the black battle armor, is slumped against the parapet. His helmet is tilted forwards, with its skeletal mouthpiece resting on the top of the sleeping warrior's breastplate. You step over the snoring GIEKs and approach the base of this crystal spire. Its rune-carved trunk, forged from the hardened steel, bears many fresh marks and indentations. Fortunately, this is just surface damage caused by the enemy's many fruitless attempts to render the beacon ineffective. Unbeknownst to them, a small panel near the base can be slid aside to reveal a metal switch, which will fire up the beacon. You are stooping to reach for the panel when suddenly a dark shape looms above you. A GIEK captain, taller and fiercer than any other GIEK you have seen so far, comes leaping from the saddle of his Quran to land heavily on the tower roof. He stumbles in his battle armor, but quickly regains his footing. He bellows a battle cry and then comes rushing at you, his scimitar held high. He is determined to cleave your head in two. The GIEK captain enjoys the protection of a Nadziranam battle spell, and he is immune to psychic attack. If you possess the Mind Blast, you are unable to use it against this enemy. Oh! Alright, chat. Here's our first combat in a while, and it's like a boss fight. It's a boss fight. So, let's see here. Beat his ass. We'll try. Captain. So he has 16 and 15. So he's going to be pretty hardy. So, we can't use Mind Blast, chat. So, can I fucking go to the right page? So we have 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 and shit. Dang it. I'm all mispaged now. And we have 24. Because again, you know, we did a save spot, and I decided to make that as a negative for having save spots if I choose to take one. Yeah. So we have 24 health. So we have 18, 24. So we still have a positive. So we have a +2 to our thing. So, new dice. New dice for the boss battle. A 2. We rolled a 2. Let's see how that does us, chat. So a 2 at a +2. So the enemy takes 5 and we take 4. So they are at a 10 and we are at 20. All right, let's roll again. A 5. What does a 5 get us, chat? So a 5 at a +2. All right, the enemy takes 8, and we take 2. So they are at 2, and we are at 18. So one final thing. A 9. All right. So a 9 at a 2. We take 0 damage. The enemy takes 12. So we have killed this captain. Killed him dead. Now, I need to decide, chat. Since combat is now over, we can't use it in combat. We have to use it out of combat. Do I go ahead and use my Lounge Spur to make sure that we can heal? We're about to light this beacon, and like we fought a captain, so it feels like a boss fight. But we don't know what's next. I'm gonna save it. So we're at 18 now. Okay. If you win this combat, turn to 132. All right. We beat his ass. It took a few turns, but we still did it. 132. The Giek captain shrieks a gurgling death cry when you strike your killing blow. As its heavy body slumps against the parapet of the tower and lies still, you sheathe your bloodied weapon and turn your attention back to the base of the crystal spire. Quickly you reach down, slide open its secret panel, and press the metal control switch. With a deafening crack, the crystal beacon explodes into life. Its multifaceted surface emits a beam of focused orange light that penetrates the gloomy skies to the southeast and reaches, in the blink of an eye, all the way to the distant city of Holmgard. A collective roar of anger arises out of the noise of the battle raging below. The enemy have failed to prevent this alarm beacon from being activated, and they know their vengeful master, Dark Lord Zagarna, will extract a terrible price for their failure. Their cries elate you, but the completion of your task brings with it renewed danger. The encircling Kron are drawing together now in preparation to attack you and exact their revenge. You must leave the roof of the tower quickly if you are to avoid their imminent assault. Oof, so yeah, see, I should have maybe used it. If you wish to leave it once. By the trapdoor in the roof, turn to 503. If you decide to pause for a few moments to search the body of the dead Giek captain, turn to 309. Oh. I think we searched the body, chat. There might be something good. Now it's going to delay us, so we might get into combat. But I think we searched the body. So, along with that, we're going to use our Loam Spar so we can have our health go back to 23, just in case we get into something hairy. So, let's go to 309. Okay, this was great. This was a great decision, actually. A quick search of the dead Giek captain yields the following items: sword, dagger, 1 meal, and another Lounge Spur, which is another healing potion. Mindful of the gathering crowd overhead, you do not have time to spare for a more thorough search. Just as the first of the Kron begin to swoop down, you leave the Giek's foul-smelling corpse and hurried towards the open trapdoor. Okay, so well, we got another Lounge Spur, and then we got 1 meal. Okay, we're gonna ignore the other weapons. So okay, yeah, free stuff, no consequences. Yeah, and we're back at our new full health. Look at that. So let's see here. 2. So 503. Okay. That. You know what? That was a pretty good decision. I'm pretty happy with that. Ooh, we have this going on. Looks like somebody's getting cut in half. All right, this is a big one, chat. This is a big reedy boy. Hurriedly, you descend the ladder to the gallery located below the tower roof, and raise the tower to seal off the trapdoor above. Oh, sorry. You breathe a sigh of relief that you are still alive, and feel a glowing sense of pride and satisfaction that you have fulfilled your mission despite all the odds. You're preparing to climb over the gallery rail and leap down to the chamber floor below, when suddenly you sense that something has changed since you were last in the Grand Master's chamber. You feel a draught of cold air coming from the direction of the south wall. You can detect the faint odor of battle smoke on this chill breeze. You move along the gallery and look down to see what one of the south-facing windows is now open. Perched on the ledge is a black hawk. Your gaze is drawn to the hawk's eye. It is glimmering like a pool of fathomless black water. The eye blinks, and a swirl of images begin to invade your mind. You see glimpses of the deadly battle raging in the training park below. The devastation is shocking to behold, and only a few of your masters and Kai comrades remain alive. The images swirl once more, making you feel dizzy and lightheaded. You are forced to grip the rail tightly to prevent yourself from collapsing to the gallery floor. Once more, the swirling shapes come back into focus, and now your mind is filled with the sights and sounds of the battle raging on the ground. Your pulse races as you gasp for breath, when suddenly you realize what these images are. They are a view of the battle as seen through the eyes of your Grand Master. Braveblade is surrounded by a closing circle of Dracarum and GX, several ranks deep. So this is what we're seeing here. Grandmaster Braveblade is surrounded by now closing circle of Dracarum and GX. So he cut one of them in twain, but he's getting surrounded. You see his sword blades flashing in slow motion, striking at the advancing enemy with devastating effect, killing several with each blow he cuts through the relentless press of their bodies. But you sense also that he is greatly outnumbered, and his strength is finally waning in the face of such impossible odds. Go to the vault, Silent Wolf. Braveblade's words are like a soft whisper in your ear. Escape from here. All is lost. Save yourself. Reach Holmgard and tell King Olnar. May Kai and Ishir preserve you. The images fade and your head begins to clear as if you are waking from a nightmare. The Black Hawk screeches loudly. It leaves its perch on the narrow window ledge and flies away towards the southeast, on a bearing running parallel to the crystal beacon's orange beam of light. Then you hear the sound of a triumphant enemy cheer rising up from the training park below, and your heart sinks with a chilling realization, Hodor, that at last they have defeated Braveblade and the courageous few who fought by his side to the bitter end. A feeling of outrage wells up from deep within you. With cat-like grace, you vault the gallery's rail and land easily on the tiled floor below. Then you rush to the open window and look down. The battle is finally over. The grounds of the monastery are littered with the bodies of the dead and the dying, and teeming with the cheering ranks of the now victorious enemy. Then suddenly their cheering fades, and an angry cry echoes around the monastery's breached and burning walls. From the center of the training park battleground, a hooded figure unleashes from its outstretched palm a ball of scarlet fire that arcs upward towards your window. There is a sudden flash, and a wave of scorched air flings you backward to the floor. Pick a number from the random table. All right, what are we gonna roll? 2. If you have 0 to 4, turn to 234. Oh, okay. So we get to save our game on this event. 234. All right, so let's see here. The searing flash of the missile's fiery blast burns the exposed flesh on your face and hands. All right. The books and manuscripts on the shelves nearest to the window are immediately ignited by the heat. They burst into flame and give off thick clouds of black smoke, and will quickly fill this chamber. You pull yourself to your feet and make a hurried escape by the way of the stairs. No, we took damage this turn, so I feel like we shouldn't be able to heal on turns that we take damage. So we'll stay at 21. So 453. What time do we got? 11? You know what? Especially since we just saved our game. I think this is actually going to be a good place to pause it. It's also a cliffhanger. We don't know. Are we gonna make it out? Are we gonna escape? They know we're here. They're gonna try to come get us. Anyway, chat. This was pretty fun. I'm really quite liking this. Quite unfortunate that we had the roof collapse on us and instantly died. But I feel like this is a fair trade-off. We save every 10 turns, and whatever my whatever my EP is at that point when if we choose to save, because we could choose to forego the save and keep going. You know, we go 20 actions, and if we die, we go back pretty far. So yeah, I think that's a good trade-off. We save, but we also save our health as our permanent new health. Now, I would also say that if we make it to the end of the book, we get to restore this health to 27 for like a reward for, you know, successfully completing the game and starting the second book. And so yeah, I think that's going to be a good trade-off. So we're doing pretty well so far, I think. You know, we found another loam spar. We still have a battle crystal. We have our rope. We have a meal, because I feel like we're about to like start needing meals. Since we're going to be out in the wilderness, but we have our hunting to make up for that. We do have the Kai shield, and we have the Kai gold key. We never got to learn what the gold key did. I wonder if we could have learned what that did if we took some different actions. And we have 7 gold. So yeah, we saved the game at 24 health. We're currently at 21 because we took that fire damage. The health will be at the start of a thing, and then, you know, get deducted if stuff happens. But anyway, that was pretty fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that too. My voice is also kind of getting a little bit sore too. So about 3 hours is I think a good amount of time for this. Okay, here, chat. Here's this. How about if we get into a scenario where we just can't live because our save point puts us at a place to where we just keep dying? How about we oh, you know what? No, we couldn't do that because it just keeps going from start to finish, I think. I need to double check on that. But going from Kai, Magna Kai, Grandmaster, that shows us like going up in ranks. So I don't know. Anyway, if we die, we'll just start anew and take different pathways and make sure that we're logging when there's like numbered events. Anyway, let's how about we raid somebody new again? They were the person we raided yesterday was very nice. So let's see. Are there any other VTubers? Doing tabletop RPGs. Let's find out, huh? Let's see here. Most people are going to be doing like D&D and stuff. I feel like I'm fairly unique in that, you know, I'm doing these hand cam tabletop RPGs. Cause yeah, most of them are definitely like, just D&D campaigns and things like that. So here, let's just filter by VTuber. I just, oh, you know what? Here's somebody doing a hand cam. Let's go visit this person. They're doing a puzzle. Let me make sure they're not about to end. Okay, no, they're not. So, okay. Let's go give them a raid and watch them do a puzzle. Well, that's new. When did SiriBot start doing that? Anyway, thank you to Bill TV Show for the follow. Wait, is my raid going? I don't think it is. Oh, no. Okay, there it is. Yeah, well, bye, Vibe. Thank you for dropping by. Tomorrow we got, some more Dirge of Cerberus. I don't think we'll beat it since tomorrow is our short stream, but otherwise, I hope everybody has a great night, and, we'll catch you next time, huh? Until then.